Buses can be a little bit tricky to convert into living spaces, but if you get it right, they will save you a fortune, and that in turn will change the trajectory of your life. That sounds dramatic, but that's literally what happened to us. We converted that bus last year and it's completely changed our lives. We have so much freedom. We're not tethered to a mortgage, and it is a fantastic space for us to live in. However, there are a few issues with converting them. Have you noticed that some people in our society seem to spend an enormous amount of time working, like they're kind of trapped in this system? You know, Adam Smith, the 18th century economist, figured that by now we wouldn't really be working much. He thought that the invention of new machines that would save labour would mean that by now we'd hardly be doing anything. But in fact, the opposite's true. Since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, we've worked way more, not less, and that trend for working longer hours just keeps continuing and getting worse and worse. The biggest drain on our money is obviously the house, and ludicrous house prices and their accompanying massive mortgages have effectively trapped us in this kind of situation that's not that dissimilar from indentured servitude. But it doesn't have to be like that. I mean, we spent months living in that van just to avoid paying rent. There's loads of options, from yurts to tiny houses, converting things like this shipping container, or we could do what we did and convert a bus. We looked at pretty much all of those options. The reason we ended up with a bus is because basically it was amazingly cheap. We bought that for less money than it would cost to buy just a trailer for a tiny house. The other really cool thing about them is that they have wheels, and once you have wheels, most sort of regulatory authorities and councils and people like that consider it a vehicle and not a house, and therefore you don't have the same kind of regulatory pressures that you do when you're building a normal house with consents and so on. Buses, however, do have a few issues that you need to be aware of. I'll show you what I mean. So I built this a few months back. If I had a problem with it right now, let's imagine this panel leaked, all I would need to do is just pull that off, rip this ply off, cut another piece of wood to the same size, nail it back in. I'd be done in just a few minutes. If you wanted to do that same thing on a bus, you'd have to drill out all of these rivets along here, take this panel out, cut another one, put it in size, and then drill and re-rivet that whole panel in. It's perfectly doable, it just takes longer, and that's one of the problems with buses. Like, working with metal is just a bit harder than it is working with wood. When we first bought this bus, it leaked like crazy. I would go around with a silicone gun. I was actually using polyurethane, which is best for the windows. I'd go around and I'd seal up all of the windows, and then a couple of days later the wind direction would change, it would rain, and you'd discover a whole load of other leaks. It was really tricky going around sealing them all up, but it's doable, it just takes time. Eventually I cheated and just built a roof over the whole thing. This is a little bathroom that I recently built in the same way you would build a normal house, i.e. with normal 2x4 studs. And the great thing about that is if you wanted to insulate this, it would be so easy. You know, you just cut your insulation to size and push it in, and there's 4 inches of space. That's masses of insulation. In a bus, there just isn't that much room for insulation. I used sheep's wool and I stuffed it in pretty much any place I could get it. So there's about an inch in the ceiling and in the walls. And on the floor, I used polyboard, again about an inch or 25mm, which really isn't very much. And in terms of headroom, that gives me, I mean, like, say if you were, I'm quite short, so I'm okay in here. But if you're up to about 6'2", you could just fit inside here. If you're going to be in an area that's colder than where we live, then obviously you're going to need more insulation, and then that means you're going to have less headroom. People get around this. I've seen people in the US doing roof raises where they cut the struts on the bus and lift the roof, but that's a pretty serious undertaking, so it's definitely something that you want to consider if you're going to be somewhere cold. Houses are essentially a series of boxes, and the great thing about that is it's really easy to either buy furniture or build furniture and just put it straight in because the walls are all flat, square and straight. None of that is true on a bus. Every single surface is curved, and there's really obvious stuff, like obviously the roof's curved, so you have to cut and scribe wood in order to fit it into the bus. But even the walls that I kind of thought were straight are not straight. They're actually curved. They're kind of like a giant cigar that's been squashed. So any kitchen cabinetry, any furniture that you put inside the bus, you're going to end up having to kind of cut it and scribe it, either with a template or just with trial and error. Again, it's not a massive problem, it just takes a bit more time. Buses are covered in windows. I mean, just look how many they are here, and that continues around the entire bus. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is dependent on the climate you're in. Here it's pretty mild. We have kind of quite warm winters and the summers are not particularly hot. So for us, it's no big deal. But if you were going to go somewhere with a different climate, you'd probably want to get rid of some of the windows and maybe replace them with some insulation, because that sun coming in the summer is going to heat up pretty quick. And again, in the winter, it's going to get cold. The windows are really thin. They're never double glazed. So removing a few of them might be an option. The biggest thing of all, or I bet that you're thinking it's the biggest thing of all, is the size of the space. So that bus is 10 meters long, which is 32 feet. You would think that that is way too small to live in, but I promise you it isn't. I used to watch videos about tiny houses and things like that before we bought that. And people were always saying on those videos, oh, we've got loads of space, we've got loads of storage space. And I never believed them. I just thought, God, that just can't be true, because I lived in a 3-bedroom house and we always seemed to be running out of space. We never had enough storage space. The kitchen seemed like it was way too small. And now we're living in that little bus and it's fine. We really don't want for any more space, honestly. Buses are just not standard things. So anytime you want to replace something like a door catch or a window latch or anything like that, you can't just go to your local DIY store. Usually the things they sell for houses don't really fit for buses. So that means you kind of got to get online and search for little products on forums and things like that, or you have to make it yourself. Having said all of that, I would still really recommend getting a bus. I absolutely love living in it. And more than anything, I love not having a massive mortgage that ties me down and means that I have to work all the time. If you want to know just how happy I am, then watch last week's program, which I'll link to here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week.